This time 2 weeks ago, former Vice President Mike Pence was sheltering his family from the violence of an angry mob inside the Capitol building. Today, he chose to attend the inauguration of Joe Biden over the farewell to Donald Trump. But don't forget, as you were hearing, he was repeating the Trump lie that the election had been stolen until just a few weeks ago. So what to make of those who have been umbilically tied to the former president? Ben Carson is one of the longest serving of the Trump administration, and he joins us now. Dr. Carson, you stuck it out at Donald Trump's side in the face of those lies and the insurrection and the incitement to violence, even after your colleagues left. Why did you remain loyal?
Because we have a lot of work to do. There are millions of people who depend on us getting that work done. And we were working right up to this morning, getting things done. So, you know, we have to recognize why we are here. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you get caught up in all the peripheral political issues that are going on. And of all the government agencies, HUD is the one, I think, where there's particular harmony between the two parties because we want the same thing for the people.
Yeah, it's funny to hear incitement being called peripheral. I guess it's fairly fundamental to democracy. And when you talk about getting the work done, America passed that grimmest milestone of 400,000 deaths from COVID. So I'm wondering what the administration was getting done. What do you think it's done in these last few months or year?
Well, you know, I'm also a member of the coronavirus task force. So I have an inside view of what's going on. And the camaraderie, the efficiency, the ability to work together across silos to produce a vaccine, you know, by the end of last year is really phenomenal. I think a lot of people don't realize how amazing that is. But if you look at the backdrop of vaccine development over the years, you will realize it was really quite spectacular.
The vaccine was extraordinary, but America knows it could have done with Donald Trump's leadership right from the beginning on a pandemic that he knew was deadly, but would not tell the people about. How can you stand by as a member of the coronavirus task force and say, well done, we did just great?
Well, one of the things, if you follow anything that I do that you probably notice, is that I don't badmouth people. I don't badmouth people on either side. I have a tendency to want to look at what are the problems and what are the solutions and look for logical explanations for how do we solve problems.
I guess there's a difference, isn't there, between bad-mouthing and between what President Biden today called truth. He said truth and lies, lies told for power and profit. Now, you will know that Donald Trump was telling lies for power. He told the country that he had won an election that he lost. You don't have to badmouth, but you could have turned to him and say, it's time for the truth now. Why didn't you?
Well, you know, that's a complex issue, and as you know, there are a lot of people who question,
Not really.
you know, things that happen.
Not really, is it?
Yeah, there are quite a few people who question what happened. And what I think would be a very wise thing is actually to explore what's been done so that everybody can see. And if everybody can see that there's no problem, I think a lot of that settles down very quickly. Rather than take the attitude, no, it's just forget about that, and if you say anything about it, you're unpatriotic. You know, that sometimes even drives people further into thinking that there's something wrong. And we really should operate in transparency.
Okay, so people feeling something doesn't make it a fact, and people questioning it doesn't make it true. And it was up to people who had been around the president, as well as the president himself, to tell him that, to spell it out, to say you lost. and democracy and the country is more important than your ego. I still don't understand why you wouldn't have said that and preserved the legacy of the Trump administration rather than leaving it in tatters where it now lies.
Well, there were many discussions. I have a tendency not to talk about the discussions that I have in private with the president, but all possibilities were considered in some detail.
Do you regret the path that you took now, given where it left things 2 weeks ago?
Well, what I'm very happy about, I always say at HUD we have the ugliest building and the best people. And over these last couple of weeks, they have worked extremely hard in order to get out, some of the policies and to make sure that people throughout this country don't suffer. That's really what's critical. That's really what's important.
And you will stand by Donald Trump, whatever he does next. Would you like him to stand again?
I don't stand by anybody, regardless of what they do.
Joe Biden, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Ben Carson, thank you very much indeed. In the last few moments,